Good evening. I'm sitting here with Aaron Sconard from Pluralsight. How you going, Aaron?
Good to be here, Adam.
Well, I'm pretty excited to have a look through all your videos. You guys are pretty much now, I believe, seen as the premier online training company in the world.
Well, I don't know if we're in the world, but we're trying our best.
Well, you're everywhere, and all developers that I speak to talk about you.
Well, that's good to hear. It's good to hear.
So you're over here promoting yourself?
Yes, here in Australia this week, first time in the country.
And how was it?
Great. Loved the people. The conference was fantastic, and everyone in our company felt like it was some of the most friendly developers we've ever encountered, actually. So very hospitable.
Oh, awesome. So I'm fairly well prepared. I have got my account up and running.
Okay.
I wanted to, go through a quick run through. Sure. I want to talk about a few things. Could I start with the history? When did you start this thing?
Yeah.
I think I met you back developmental days.
Yeah, probably 10 years ago.
Yes. I think one was over in the East Coast. Doing a VBits thing, or a
Boston.
Yeah. Or Chicago.
Yeah, maybe Chicago. Yeah. Chicago. Yeah.
So anyway, so you moved on from there, and how did you kick this thing off?
So it was about 8 years ago that we started Pluralsight, and there were 4 of us at the time, and we decided to create a training company that was just doing traditional classroom training at the time. A lot of what we used to do in the past before that. And then about 3.5, 4 years ago, we decided to kind of shift in a different direction.
Totally shift, or just try it?
Well, we kept doing the classroom training, but we decided, we kind of had hopes that this could be a long-term thing for us. And that we had this big vision, but you know how it goes when you start something new. We weren't quite sure if it would all pan out. But we had this vision of kind of taking the training we used to do in the classroom and kind of package it up into an experience that we'd be able to deliver all over the world.
So was that going to be just DVDs, like?
No, we never envisioned doing DVDs at all. It was all about putting it online, completely online and downloadable over the web.
Right, and who were your first couple of guys you put online?
Myself. And Fritz, Fritz Onion, Keith Brown, my business partners. We wrote the first half dozen courses that we put out there. So Pluralsight is a training company designed for developers by developers, as the tagline says on the main page.
Okay. Where's the tagline?
Well, just this little sentence right there.
Where's the tagline? Hardcore developer training.
Yes, that's the tag. That's the slogan there.
All right.
But this is kind of what makes us different, I think, than a lot of training companies out there.
Yeah, that's right. So who were the first guys you used external?
Well, we had a lot of instructors teaching classes for us in the classroom. So folks like Matt Milner and Scott Allen and David Starr, Dan Sullivan. They're all in here. They're great names in here, and a lot. I'm sure I'm forgetting some really important ones as we're talking, but we had about probably about 10 classroom instructors teaching for us, and all of them really keyed in on this vision and wanted to contribute. So they all jumped in and helped write some of the first courses.
So have you noticed that some of the OK trainers live have excelled online better than they did live?
Yeah, absolutely. Several of them have done even better in the on-demand format because they're so skilled at kind of presenting a difficult technology in a very succinct and intuitive way. And when you do that in the video, in a video training format, it's a lot more powerful. In the classroom, you wave your hands in the air, you
tell
draw on
some
the
funny
whiteboard.
stories.
But in the video, you really have to kind of nail the story.
Right.
To make it brief and succinct. You don't want to waste people's time, and the ums and ahs and the kind of pauses. The pauses you have in the classroom that make it more natural don't work in a video. So it's very different, and you really have to be kind of you really have to nail what you're trying to present, And you know, so the instructors that we have that are really good at that have really excelled in this on-demand format, and their courses just turn out fantastic.
Right.
I mean, it's like you watch the courses and you have these light bulb epiphany moments, and you know, that's one of the things that I think distinguishes our experience a little bit.
So tell me, the turning point of when you realized this online was actually going to work, and you could, you know, forget about what do you call it, on-premise training?
Yeah, in-person stuff. It was about a year ago that I think we really started to believe that we were ready to leave classroom training behind. But you know, it took us about a whole year just to take the vision that we had, you know, three and a half years ago, and translate that into an actual product,
right?
You know, on the website. So it took us about a year to develop our first 10 courses. Okay, and that's when we started to sell it.
Right.
And we started to sell at a really high price point because we were afraid of undercutting our classroom business and all that kind of stuff. And then the next year,
what was that price point then?
We started at $1,000 a year.
Wow.
That was, and we only have one SKU. That was the only plan.
Right. And that was selling a bit?
And we sold some. Yeah. I mean, we were selling enough to kind of say, hey, this is kind of working okay. Right. You know, but it wasn't to the point where it was like replacing our classroom training revenue. It was a nice addition, but it wasn't significant.
So then, while the classroom training was going on, did you then introduce your crazy $39 thing?
Yeah, so we you know, during the next year after that, we kind of started building more courses, you know, really trying to build out the library to the point where we felt like we could have more options and more SKUs. And so it was about 2 years into it that we then decided, you know, we really need to bring the price point down, drive the price down, push the value up with more content, you know, more options. And so we did that about a year ago. And a year ago from now, when we're recording this video, and that's when things really started to change for us.
And had you dropped the...
That's when we dropped the price.
So you dropped the price and you dropped the training?
Yeah, and well, that all kind of happened around the same time. So once we dropped the price, within the first, you know, 3-4 months, things really started to change for us, and we saw, hey, there's a market there for what we're trying to do.
And then you cut the training.
And then we decided, you know what, I think this is going to be our last year of doing classroom training. And so we haven't actually completely stopped doing classroom training yet, but we still do some if people come and ask us for us, but we don't market it, we don't push it. And this year, 2011, will most likely be the last time we do.
So that decision's essentially been made. Was that a relief when you made it?
It was. For me personally, it was. I think it was scary for a lot of people. And for me, it was scary too. But once I came to terms with the fact that, hey, you know, this is something we really love to do, but we also really love to do this, and we just felt like, you know, this really lines up better with our skill set and what we're trying to accomplish with our team, and the kind of culture we want to have long term. And so once we let go of that, it just kind of felt like, man, we can just focus. You know, I mean, the focus and not having to worry about a lot of the other things that we worried about with classroom training, it really was a relief.